Very good morning to you, and thank you so much for finding time to be with us. The date is the 25th of May 2022, otherwise known as the African Day. And on this day in 1963, the Organization of African Unity, known now as the African Union, was established. As we commemorate this day, the reflections that will be taking place will be on the main theme for this year is the importance of addressing nutrition and food security. So a happy African Day to all Africans across the world. My name is Emira Mogutu. The show is Good Morning Africa, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining us and watching us from across the world. So let's just get into it. And I take us through the headlines, and then later on we will look at some of these stories and have in-depth analysis over some of the stories that have made headlines this morning. We start with the Daily Nation from Kenya. Criticals awarded me 2,500 acres of his farm. How we did it: Deputy President, who is on a tour of the coastal region, is forced to confront the controversy surrounding his 2,536-acre Mata farm in Taita Taveta County, explaining his dealings with Basil criticals and opening himself up for scrutiny over his land dealings. The story is on page 6. And then we move on to another story up there. Raila readies for Kalonzo return. The Raila Odinga-led Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition party is laying ground for Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka's return to its fold, with plans to incorporate his allies into the presidential campaign. Teams established on Monday. The story is on page 7. And then elections just 76 days to go, and according to the notebook or the Daily Nation, shock concession. Kenya Kwanza presidential running mate Rigathi Gachagua yesterday conceded that his selection by the coalition presidential aspirant William Ruto has divided Mount Kenya leaders. I think at this point Rigathi should just be quiet. I think every time he talks, as what a lot of Kenyans are saying, he causes more damage than perhaps even uniting. So now he's saying, his Ruto's choice to pick him as his running mate has divided Mount Kenya leaders. And that is on page 4 and 5. Nyanza rebellion, a silent revolution is taking root in Raila Odinga's Nyanza backyard, where candidates of fringe parties and those vying as independents have ganged up against his ODM aspirants. The story is on page 13. Democracy at its best. And poll integrity, Deputy President William Ruto's alliance has demanded that IEBC addresses 6 issues it says are key to restore public confidence in elections management ahead of the August 9th elections. The story is on page 7. And tax exemptions. Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition presidential hopeful Raila Odinga has pledged to push for permanent tax and pay-as-you-earn exceptions for all people living with disabilities should he form the next government. The story is on page 12. And of course, the focus on counties today is on the county of Kakamega, where Mumia Sugar Company, whose and county health indicators dominate race to succeed Oparanya as Fernandez Baraza of ODM duels with Cleophas Malala of ANC. That story is on page 23. And then we turn our attention to the Star newspaper. Ruto has a slight lead in tight race with Raila. That is according to a poll. Ruto has edged into a slight lead with 43.3% compared to Raila's 42.4%. The whole story is on page 4 and 5. And of course, presidential opinion poll, Kalonzo Musyoka has about 4.0%. And then, I think is the closest to the two. And MPs reject Unga, Boda and beer tax. Lawmakers have rejected Treasury's proposal to increase taxes and excise duty charged on beer, gaming, motorcycles and maize flour, handing taxpayers a reprieve in tough economic times. The Finance Committee of the National Assembly, chaired by Homa Bay women representatives Gladys Wanga, said some of the proposed tax measures will be counterproductive. They also shot down the bid to tax fertilizer. The story is on page 2. Inside Kalonzo's grand return to Raila Azimio's One Kenya coalition, that is on page 6, and invasive alien weeds choking pastures and killing animals. You'll find that on page 3. And the Standard newspaper, the main headline, blow as MPs reject Uhuru's new taxes, faced with a re-election battle even as Kenyans reel under the high cost of living. MPs shoot down many proposals in President Kenyatta's last budget that would have seen a further rise in prices of goods. They include VAT on maize, wheat flour, motorcycles, betting and alcohol. The story is on page 9. Six-piece rebellion as Raila and Ruto unite on strategy. That is on page 6. And new twists and turns in Mirema Drive shooting investigation. That is on page 3. And doom and gloom stoke Sonko's bid. That is on page 8. And dangers in CSS openly backing Raila's bid. They are vocal, have taken sides. They juggle political outings with ministerial dockets. Now experts warn that they are arming Raila's rivals with evidence to challenge Paul if he wins. Also raises poll integrity and public trust issues. I think we had this conversation yesterday and we shall continue with it again this morning. You'll find that on page 4. We'll take a look at the headlines from across the continent a bit later on. We're joined right now by Gladwell Kirago, our in-house analyst and a journalist from Nairobi. Gladwell, a very good morning to you.
A very good morning to you, Miriam. A very good morning to our viewers.
All right. So perhaps we start with an update of this Sonko story that we were looking at yesterday. Remember, we were waiting for a ruling to be made. So let's find out. And former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko's woes intensified after the High Court in Nairobi issued another order stopping him from vying in the August 9th election. Justice Anthony Mrima issued an order stopping the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC from receiving, considering, evaluating or approving the nomination papers by Sonko for Mombasa governorship, to vie for Mombasa governorship. And the commission is also restrained from publishing in the Kenya Gazette the nomination of Mike Mbuvi Sonko as a candidate for Mombasa gubernatorial election pending determination of the suit, ruled Mrima. Justice Mrima further forwarded the file to Chief Justice Martha Koome to appoint a 3-judge bench to consolidate, determine the 3 other petitions filed in Eldoret and Mombasa challenging Sonko's eligibility to contest. So I don't know, at this point, should just Sonko give up?
Miriam, everything in Kenya, most of the systems, the judicial systems, everything is a mess at a point. Because we just very few weeks actually to elections. Very few months to election. Is it 2 months to election? And now they're up here. Now they're still sending petitions that Mike Sonko should not vie. I think some of these things they should be doing it even before time, because I'm sure Mike Sonko has actually wasted his resources in the campaigns. He has also branded his merchandise. He got so many things out. Now what happens when he's told that he can no longer vie? What happens? He has wasted a lot of money in it. So I think some of these things, what they should be doing, they should be giving, orders before that so and so should not vie. Alternatively, and that's what I was saying, we need to change a whole constitution in the next government. Some of these things should be in the constitution well indicated, so that it is everybody knows that if you've ever been if you've ever had a case of either you have either been here and there, you're not supposed to vie for any position. That is what should be happening, not at the last minute that you are now saying that so and so can't vie. No.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And I heard the Chief Justice, I don't know if I can remember exactly what she was saying. She was talking on a radio show, was it maybe 2 days ago? And she was asked about this matter, about people who have already been charged on the courts, like Sirisi, a member of parliament, or somebody who has been impeached, like Mike Sonko, as when he was the governor of Nairobi, who was impeached. So she said, according to her own interpretation of the law, these people are not allowed to hold any public office until, until this impeachment has been overturned. Then you are free, because we know the part of the law that perhaps they're using as a leeway for them to even give themselves for these elective positions. There's that part that says until you exhaust all legal avenues, then you're still you're still innocent. But you see, somebody like Sirisia, Member of Parliament, he was found guilty. So until that is overturned, he should not be vying. He should not even be a member of parliament because he has already been found guilty. And for Mike Sonko, he has been impeached, before. And even for the former Kiambu Governor, Waititu, he has been impeached before. And because of that, they're disqualified from holding any public office until that impeachment is overturned. Now they can come back and say, and be free to run again. But as it stands right now, according to the Chief Justice and her interpretation of the law, these people have violated the Chapter 6 of Leadership and Integrity. They have been found guilty, and they should not be offering themselves for these elective positions until that impeachment is overturned and until that ruling that found Sirisia, Member of Parliament, guilty is because he's already been found guilty. Matter of fact, he should be serving his term in jail, so that person should not be running. And I just wondered, how are these judges, or how are we? Is that law very difficult to understand, that different judges and different people just interpret it, differently? But when she was explaining, I sort of understood what she was saying, because this is something that Kenyans have been wrestling with. This person has been found guilty, and the judgment have been made, so he should not even be offering themselves for this elective position. So we've been wondering, why are they offering themselves? So I think it's the interpretation of the laws that perhaps are not consistent with perhaps the spirit of the Constitution. We are joined this morning also by Dr. Matanga. Doctor, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Miriam. Good morning, wherever you are across the continent of Africa. This is Dr. David Matanga, right from the African headquarters of Punchline Africa Television. Together with Miriam, I'm ready for questions. Thank you.
Okay. So before we get into, and by the way, happy African Day. I know today we are commemorating when the Organization of African Unity was formed in 1963, I believe. So today we are remembering.
But it is unfortunately, Miriam, as I switch on my equipment from all sides, it is dead. The African Union is dead. It's no longer African Union that we want. The African Union died a long time ago, and you can see right today I am in a jovial mood to tell people that we are not the same AU. Today at 12 o'clock, 12:15, Matanga will be on the panel to be fried for 45 minutes. I will be on the panel of experts drawn from all over Africa, Miriam. Thank you very much for your encouragement, education, criticism that have made me to reach that panel of the highest in Africa to discuss African issues. 12:15 East African time. It is a do or die for Africa. It is dead. AU is dead. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. That will be an exciting conversation. But we've been looking at this case of Sonko, and I was just sharing with our viewers what I heard the Chief Justice say the other day. And she interpreted the law that I think a lot of Kenyans have been wondering what is going on. Like in the case of Sirisia, Member of Parliament, he was found guilty by the court. The verdict is already out. He's guilty. So as he goes on through to exhaust the whole legal process, he's already guilty. So until that is turned, he's not supposed to be holding office. And even for Mike Sonko, who was impeached, and Waititu, who was impeached, the CJ said they stand impeached. That means they are not suitable to hold public office until that impeachment has been overturned. So why do we have different interpretation of this law? And where is the confusion?
Because we have River Road lawyers and Karioko lawyers in this country. And Africa has the same. Look, Miriam, chapter 6 of integrity, read together with the Bill of Rights. There is one underlining issue that runs across both chapters. And that underlining issue is very simple, Miriam. The underlining issue that crosses over both chapters is personal integrity. Article 73, 2A is, you can see for yourself, personal responsibility, integrity. Forget about what the lawyers are saying. 73, 2A and the following, they all interlink with chapter of Bill of Rights. Yes, you have the rights as a citizen to be proven guilty or not guilty. You have a right to be found that you committed a crime or not. But you have also a responsibility to the public to see you have personal integrity. The article number 2 says, the guiding principles of leadership and integrity include selection on the basis of personal integrity. Medium, personal integrity. Go and read the Bill of Rights, chapter 2. It doesn't say you start driving your cars because you have the Bill of Rights to drive a car in Kenya. You still drive the car, you have knocked 10 people. We continue as if you didn't kill 10 people at River Road. Then you went to Huru Park roundabout, killed another 5. We continue and say, give him another big car to drive. What the Chief Justice was modest. She didn't want to go deeper. In law, there are 2 different things, Miriam. Now I think I better go back for another 1 category for law. In law, in local law, on how to handle it, but international law I have. In law, there are 2 things that we have, Miriam. Legally idle and legally silent. Chapter 6, 73 is legally silent. When the judge finds you that you committed manslaughter, a lady enters her house, matrimonial house, finds another lady seated on her bed. Let's take an extreme example. A lady gets a fimbo or a rungu and beats that woman. Okay, that's an example. The second example, you are walking in Nairobi streets and by accident somebody triples on you from behind and you fall and die. The person is arrested because you didn't know him, he doesn't know you. How does the judge rule on those 2 cases, Miriam or Kiruga? How? I'm now teaching law here. There's legal idleness, legally idle, and legally silent. The judge has discretion. The judge can now say, why was Miriam provoked? Or why was Kiruga provoked? Or why was Matanga provoked? When he found somebody in his house, an intruder has come to your house, you shoot him dead. What does the judge tell you in self-defense? You found a person in your bed who was not supposed to be there. You struggle with him, kill him. And then you walk on the streets of Nairobi, you knock somebody by accident, yourself. You are walking, all of you going in different directions. And maybe you are walking, you didn't intend. You knock him and he's weak, he falls on the tarmac, dies. Miriam, tell me, how does the judge make the ruling? Now you have it clear. 3, Kiruga, how does the judge make the ruling?
According to the Kenyan judges, that this is how they will rule it. The lady who was found by another lady in her matrimonial bed, and let's say maybe the other lady, the owner of the house, the legal wife, maybe, let me call the other lady a side chick. That would be the best word to use. And the main wife, let's say she started the violence, and maybe she did injure the side chick. According to the Kenyan judges, this is what they will do. They will actually they will actually let the lady go out with a bail. Most likely that is what will happen. The other person may be one who tripled and fell, and by a stranger who didn't even, they both didn't know each other, and she died. The person who made the lady fall, and maybe it was a big mistake, will be judged and will be sentenced. That is what happens in Kenya's law. The people who have the
I'm taking. You have done it. You have done it opposite.
Because sorry, Kirago, to interfere with your thought process. There's a ruling that actually, Doc is giving an example, but there's an actual case that happened in Siaya a couple of years ago where this lady killed the husband, because if she didn't kill the husband was going to kill her, because the husband had a weapon and was really launching at her. So the lady killed the husband out of self-defense, and she was set free. And that was not the first time this man had been beating her. So that day it was either she was going to die or the man was going to die. So she had to do something to protect herself, and the court let her go. So those cases, I think they vary. They vary, and it's, as Doc has said, the judge will use their discretion to look at the facts surrounding the case and determine.
Thank you very much, Miriam. That is the word I'm looking for. Kiragu, thank you very much. You tried. But the word I'm looking for, my dear, both of you, is the judge has a right to look at the silent law. This is not an idle law. It's not legally idle. You can even call it legally idle, standing there waiting for you. So the Chief Justice was on the warning people that when you land in my court and you have been brought for allegations, clear them.
So has been sent to her court. The judge Mrima said now the CJ must form a 3-bench to listen to that.
Wait. Before that, why did the British bring this law to us? The Constitution says integrity. Why did we put the chapter integrity in the Constitution of Kenya? It's to keep our governance clean. That's why you see the word personal integrity. Obuntu, bwomutima, bwomwoyo, tegulimu, wafa. I don't know what you, Miriam, let me translate for you. The mannerism, the behavior, the integrity is dead in you. Then you want to proceed to lead the public. First, you have been charged for having obtained 7.4 billion shillings from the same companies that you are going to preside over. And you are told to go back and work, continue as usual. That's why I said you kill people on the River Road. They say bring him a bigger car to continue killing. Go to Uhuru Park round about, kill more. Nyayo Stadium round about, kill more. Continue. That is what the Kenyan politicians want to be done. The law in civilized countries, the law in civilized democracies, the law in Singapore, in Malaysia, in Indonesia, in Australia. Miriam, why these countries have suffered and become the beacon of hope for all politicians in Kenya to quote, and I quote, everybody said Singapore, Singapore, Singapore. Miriam, is because they have one thing in those laws: personal integrity. Personal integrity. I come to that studio and start slapping you. Continue slapping you, beating you up. The camera doesn't go off. What am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to resign as the chairman of the Punchline Africa and go home and wait for police to do investigations as to why I slapped you. That's responsibility. That's what chapter 6 says. Forget. The judge was being lenient. She didn't want to threaten people's blood by saying, if you have anything mentioned against you, whether you have proved guilty or not, first of all, step aside, then you plead guilty or not guilty. From there, clear yourself, then you can go back and even claim. That's why Miriam, the civil service of Republic of Kenya suspends you on half pay. Are you with me? Why did we create half pay law? My sisters, why do we suspend the civil servant and pay him half salary and half house rent and everything? Are you with me? Pending what? The outcome. That's what the Chief Justice, I'm telling you, you land there in her court. You land there, and then you think you will come back. Let Sonko go there.
And her interpretation of law, Doc, is very clear. So I don't know where the rest of
It
our
is
judges...
clear. I support Martha Koome 100% on this one.
Because she said if you've been found guilty, you are still guilty until you overturn that verdict. You're still guilty.
She was even very moderate because she didn't want to scare Rigathi Gachagua and others. But in essence, the message she has passed to the judges there, because she controls judiciary. Are you with me? Mm-hmm. She has foot to stamp authority on judiciary. That mtu yote ananuka. Mtu ananuka kama mwizi, ameiba pesa ya umma, amepiga mtu bunduki. Sikia mimi mama, anapiga risasi, inatoka kwa risasi kwa mdomo. Huyo mtu usikumbalie atembee corridors zetu paka haijisosti kama hako nje. That's simply what she said. And then she's going to start with those already impeached. But I'm telling you, the law that Kioni is putting in the parliament says that Miriam Ogutu and Gladwell Kiragu can walk in anywhere and say, excuse me, Matanga slapped me the other day. And I can see he's standing for MCA for Runda, please, or for Lavington. Can you please? Somebody will go to court and look here. And the judges have to say, slapped you. Do you have your police OB reference number? Yes. I went to police, medical, here, everything, and I was injured. So he's now coming again. The Chief Justice is trying to clean the politics of Kenya. And that's why people are worried.
By interpreting the Constitution the right way.
Mm-hmm. That's why people are worried. That's why people are calling Martha Karua Kabibi. Because once Martha Karua joins hands with Koome, hello, wala, hapa mutaikimbia. Nyinyi wengine mnasema Matanga is a refugee, mutakuwa refugee wengi, sababu watafunga watu, like Ruto atakuwa number 1 in the committee cell, the one that is being built, the extension for diplomats. I've been told, reliable investigations, extensions have gone on there. Yo, she has done nothing wrong. Clean yourself. Then Miriam, come back. Am I audible enough today? Am I in the mood today on African Day? Thank you very much, madam.
Okay, and still matters. Still matters, Chief Justice. The CJ Martha Koome has outlawed public comments on presidential election petitions once filed at the Supreme Court in a Gazette notice dated April 12th and published in the Kenya Gazette on May 5th. The Chief Justice amended the Supreme Court presidential election petition rules by adding a new clause that stops debate on the merits of the case until judgment is delivered. The gag order further restrained the parties that will be litigating in the presidential election petition from making public comments in any manner that will prejudice the court until judgment is delivered.
I told you. Kirabu, why can't you clap from where you are, ma'am? This lady is now talking. You know, it's final. Did you know that? Because she's the Supreme Court. She's the judge. You can't go anywhere. Wait, Miriam, which court are you going to? Didn't I tell you people, let's go to East African Court of Justice? Miriam, you remember? The East African Court and African Court of Justice is the only one that can give an opinion. But Martha Koome has done it, it's finished. When the case is undergoing in the Supreme Court, some people, and I know the group that will start speculating, it is the Kwanzaa, they will say, oh, the judge has been bribed, or this, or that, or that. That is going to happen. So she has done a very good job there.
And of course, the new rules that any breach of the provision shall amount to contempt of court, and which can lead to jail sentence of up to 6 months in prison. And of course, Nelson Harvey, the former LSK chairperson, has said he will go to court to challenge this new directive by the Chief Justice.
You can't go to the lower court. How are you going to bring the Chief Justice in the lower court, Miriam?
I'm sure there are mechanisms in the judiciary that perhaps allows.
No. If it was just Murima.
Said he'll go to the High Court to challenge that.
How can you go to the High Court? You can't ask Murima to bring the Chief Justice. Look here, Miriam. There are no things in Kenya that you can see for sure. The only Supreme Court outside the Supreme Court ruling, that is like a ruling, and the Chief Justice Constitution. Look at the duties of the Chief Justice, the judiciary. Look, you can't go back to the Supreme Court dragging the Chief Justice back to the High Court. And then, Miriam, can I ask one technical question? That when you defeat, when you are defeated there, where do you go next? Where do you go next? To appeal court, and eventually you end up in the Aaron court. So it is impossible. Harvey is just playing politics, Jamen. Even in that application, the registrar of the High Court will strike it off before it moves. You can't. What the Supreme Court, you know, it is like when the Supreme Court said the BBI is null and void because the president and Raila Odinga are state officers. They should not have not publicized the BBI.
No, the president is a state officer. Right? Raila is not in government. Yeah.
No, she's saying
he advises the president pro bono. I don't know, but yes, because the president, in his capacity, cannot start a constitutional amendment process. All right.
So it actually invalidated the
whole process.
BBI, and nobody. Now you can't come from there and again go to High Court that you are querying why the Chief Justice has issued a gag order. You can't. It's the Supreme Court. It's again what? Now what what Harvey has done is legally idle. Is what we call legally idle in law. I've learned some law from about 2 days, 3 days ago. I've been practicing on this constitution and then check what is legally silent and legally law. They are idle. That one is idle. It's like dead on arrival. As soon as you say Chief Justice Martha Koome, is it in personal capacity or the capacity of the Supreme Court? The judge will tell you that you are in a wrong place on a right time at a bad time in a dangerous area, and a very funny Hurricane Katrina is coming to sweep you.
Okay.
Today.
All right. Okay, so
I don't know why Gladwell, why do you put your hand here? Talk to us. We should not talk alone with Miriam. What is going on?
No, I'm just listening.
No, but you can't just listen from one point. Just come in. This is a discussion. You should not wait. If you see the point that is squeezing your throat, come in. Yes. 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 This is Africa Day. You are liberated.
Are we now? But anyway, perhaps this will interest Gladwell. Kenya Kwanza presidential running mate Rigathi Gachagua yesterday conceded that his selection by the coalition's presidential aspirant William Ruto has divided Mount Kenya leaders. I don't know if it's just the leaders or also the electorate. So the story is on page 4 and 5. So let's just get a bit of that. I'd like to get your thoughts on this. Mathira Member of Parliament Rigathi Gachagua has admitted that his selection as Kenya Kwanza presidential running mate by Deputy President William Ruto has divided Mount Kenya. DP Ruto and Mr. Gachagua have been in the region for almost a week to counter the tour by Mr. Raila Odinga's running mate Martha Karua. The pair will be in Ms. Karua's home, County Kirinyaga, on Sunday. There is speculation that their tours seek to undo the possible gains Ms. Karua may have made by exploiting the perceived discontent with Mr. Gachagua's nomination. This is in spite of unconfirmed reports that Mr. Gachagua trailed in opinion polls and a vote by the region's elected leaders during a meeting at the DP's residence in Karen, Nairobi. Yesterday, Mr. Gachagua acknowledged that his nomination caused divisions, but that he has since been embraced by the region. So has this just caused division within the leadership of UDA and the politicians, or has this division trickled down to the electorate? I don't know. What's your thoughts? We'll start with Gladwell.
Miriam, whenever Gachagua opens his mouth, it's just making things worse. I wish he would just keep quiet. I mean, it's just making people to scatter away in different directions. And he's saying that the Mount Kenya is divided. Actually, if we are to do an election now, the 60 plus 1 that they expected to get, they won't even see half of it. No. Because Gachagua is not doing Ruto any good. It's just messing him up. I don't know if you have ever, let me relate it to this movie, Agent of Devil. That is what he's doing. He's just making people scatter away. Also yesterday in a post, he said that a running mate is like a wife. The fact that he's giving out, Miriam, even like, is this guy serious? That is what he said, that a running mate is like a wife. I don't know if you saw the poster.
It's here.
And I tried. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was like, now, what kind of reasoning is this? His reasoning is way beyond. Is way beyond. Actually, when people have started making jokes, I saw somebody say, "Oh, we just feel Safaricom will be given the microphones because they are trying to think the way Rigathi is thinking. His thinking is too low." And I wish he would just keep quiet. Let him get people mobilizers, do the campaign on his behalf. Because at the end of it all, he's not doing Ruto any good. He's just actually selling the other party to the people.
Mm-hmm. And just a reminder, he does have a political science degree from the University of Nairobi, okay? So Mr. Gachagua likened picking a Kenya Kwanza presidential ruling mate to making a decision on who to marry. He said it is a personal decision by the presidential aspirant. He sought a well-known and compatible person, one who shares his ideals. he should not even have put that there. And a leader with proven value for friendship, that's how I defeated them. So he's saying that's how he defeated other aspirants. So they seem to be sharing the same ideals. And, that Kenyans have been accusing them, the DP and him. So he says they share the same ideals, and it's a very personal decision. But this decision, as much as it is personal, and the DP, perhaps there are things he saw in Gachagua that made him to choose him as his running mate. But likening it to choosing a wife, like you say there, I don't know if this is the right analogy, because this is not a personal enterprise, it's not a personal thing. The choosing of a running mate must be strategic as far as even bringing in the votes is concerned. So how personal is this running mate business, Doc?
For me, I've talked enough on Gachagua. But Gachagua is, how can you say is like a wife? So is he a wife? There are certain things we are made. We are going back to Idi Amin's days. When Idi Amin went to London to meet the Queen, Idi Amin said, at least Gachagua was in Nairobi University, was spotted outside there, the schools, around the campus.
Political science degree.
Yeah, if this is a political science, then we have a problem here. I can't say everything beyond that. Now, he was spotted around there. Those are during Moi's time, so the political science degree might have been awarded. But let me find out one thing. That Idi Amin went to United Kingdom and they were given a dinner. The British had not known. The British are the people who overthrew Dr. Milton Obote. Edward Heath ordered the British intelligence together with Mossad to overthrow Obote in 1971 in a military coup, and they preferred Idi Amin. So Miriam, when Idi and Gladwell, when Idi Amin arrived in London after the dinner, the state banquet by Her Majesty the Queen, Idi Amin stood and said, "Thank you very much, Your Majesty. I have enjoyed the food here in Britain. I didn't know that in Britain people can eat so well. But Your Majesty, Her Majesty the Queen, when you come to Uganda, I'll revenge." Hear that word. When he said, when you come to Uganda, I'll revenge, all the security systems were alerted. Yeah, there was a movement in the hall. He said this guy could jump on the Queen. And people, instead of people laughing, the security situation became tense in the hall, in the room. Everything was tense. Even I think the British must have activated their nuclear warheads. That this man has said he will revenge on the Queen. Do you know that the Queen loved Uganda so much? The two countries that the Queen made, the mother, the founding mother, the Queen, the kings of Britain decided to put a railway from Mombasa on top to a country. Sir Winston Churchill, as far as 1944, said there is a country up there. And the Queen wanted to go there. Then the Queen came and came down here. But this time she had wanted to come back to the Pearl of Africa. The Queen never came back. So Gachagua can be identified as of sons of Idi Amin. One of the sons' offsprings have come, but he has already been identified as Moi's son. So Moi used to make such announcements. You have seen on the social media, people are likening his teeth and morphology. Morphology is the study of the body shape, the nose tall, the teeth, the talk. It's like a Moi, the late Moi. That's why Gideon Moore is not taking on him so hard, so harshly. Yes, it is now being identified that way, that both the two candidates come from the Rift Valley. That campaign is going to hit the wall once the campaign is declared. And that is when the mountain will lose more and more votes when they realize that this guy is not from Nyeri, he's from Baringo. And the people have been saying, the Baringo people celebrate and say, this is our son from Kabarak. So you can't rule out that some syndromes have flown down in him. That's why he said he's going to divide the Safaricom greed for money. He's looking at Kenya Airways, greed for money. He wants every bottom up, every commoner to own one plane, or half of the tire of the plane or the window.
And I was really trying to understand perhaps what he was trying to say. I think perhaps he was trying to say that instead of concentrating on the big corporates, that perhaps they should open up our tax bracket. But his choice of words, but also you cannot open up the tax bracket at the expense of these bigger corporations. There has to be a way in how things are done. And that's why I think if you don't have an understanding of certain things, like I'm not an economist, so I will not sit here and try to act like one. I think he should leave that to people who understand, even from the UDA party, to explain. He was trying to explain the opening up of the bracket on the lower side, the people with smaller earnings, the small scale and the middle, small scale and the middle income, companies could contribute to open up the bracket, the tax bracket at the lower end, so that it makes sense. But it is not done like that. Any economist will tell you, it is not done like that. And for the corporates, somebody like Safaricom, that is somebody who has to pay their taxes, because such companies, even their operations are very clear, and that's why KRA is on Keroche right now, because with such a huge company, it's easier to trace, have you paid your taxes or not? But a lot of Kenyans from this lower bracket, they don't pay taxes. So are we better off? Of course we should open the tax bracket down here, but they bring more. So as much as he wanted to explain that, the importance of it, the expansion of the tax bracket down here, he just did not know what he was talking about. He did not understand.
Miriam.
And and in his attempt to try to explain something he does not even understand, left Kenyans wondering, does he even understand their own economic model at this point?
Miriam, to be honest, these people calling themselves hustler, they have a problem with their choice of words. Not only regarding, yesterday there's a statement also Kimani Ichung'wah made. I don't know if you heard it. He was talking about the expressway highway. And he said that the dynasties are the only ones who are using the express highway, while the dirty hustlers, I'm using the words used, where the dirty hustlers are not allowed to. Now, for you to use the express, or whether you are wherever you're doing, you have to pay for it. So where does and you can hear the choice of what they call themselves hustler. Now they have turned themselves to be a dirty hustler. So their choice of words also. And for somebody like Rigathi, actually, as for the way he's reasoning, this guy doesn't understand even the Kenyan economy at all. No, he doesn't.
I think that is a choice. I mean, you could take a bath. That is not too hard. If you were to go with that reasoning. Who said hustlers are dirty? I think that is an insult to the everyday Kenyans who are working hard. It's a choice.
That is what he said. Yeah. That is what he said.
Anyway, okay. Doc, I don't know if you have anything to say so that we can get to our topic of the day.
I didn't hear what Nani said. What did he?
Ichung'wah said what? That for the super highway, the upper part, the Nairobi Expressway, the upper part has been left for the dynasties and the lower part is for dirty hustlers. And I'm asking, being dirty is a choice. You could take a bath. If we could go with that reasoning. But also, anybody is open to use that road as long as you're able to pay. You know, they don't choose the money. They don't choose this is coming from a rich person. As long as you're in this country and you want to use that expressway, just pay for it, and you'll find yourself going wherever you're going easily and in good time.
Miriam, Kenya is not a communist state. Kenya is not China, and Kenya is not Russia or North Korea or Cuba. Kenya is a capitalist state, grown by capitalists. Ichungwa himself does not live in Kawangware. Ichungwa lives in the Tuturu. What is the place called?
I don't know what you're saying.
Kitsituru. What? Don't say you don't know what I'm saying. You're a Kenyan.
Is it Kisituru?
Yes, something like that. But you're a Kenyan. I don't know some of the names.
Kitisuru.
Kitusuru, I think.
Yes.
And I guarantee you, Doc, if he's leaving Kitisuru and is going to the airport, he will come to the red
same
and
road,
connect.
exactly.
He will use that expressway. I guarantee you, he will use it.
No, but I am saying Ichungwa lives. So he's trying to say the one is for commoners, the other one. But he is not himself does not live where the commoners live. His house is in Kitituru, and a very powerful house where he has been getting money quietly from being a chairman of the budget committee, where these companies that want money increased on their budget pay him allowances and kickbacks. That's what we should tell people about Mama Miriam. That's what they do. So when he talks about a road being one for commoners and one for this, what is nonsense? If you can, I want to ask one question to you, Miriam Amanda. Did Jesus force anybody to enter the kingdom of God? Are you forced?
It's a choice.
Thank you.
Okay, so we move on.
I am saying you can go to church every day and your prayers are not answered. But there are people who go to church one day and their prayers are answered. So it is a choice. Haven't you seen somebody just Miriam going to church for one day? Then he comes back and said, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hey, this thing now has worked. But sisi wengine, where God has kept us constantly, we pray constantly. He gives us the little that we have. It's a choice. If you choose to go to school, you can. If you choose to go to the compound of the university, like Mr. Rigathi was seen around the Central Police Station most of the time because he used to work as a senior intelligence officer. He was coordinating activities at the campus near Norfolk Hotel and the Central Police Station. Those days of Moi. His friends are saying he used to go and spy on them, and then he could walk down to Nyati House, which was across the road. Unaona mom, that's what the job he used to do. That's why he doesn't even know that talking about him being a wife chosen by Ruto is a very bad thing in politics. So every time Rigathi Gachagua opens his mouth, every time he kills the volume.
But there's something there that perhaps he said that we should underscore. He says that the DP chose somebody who they shared the same ideals with. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, same tactics of theft. Why are we not concluding it, Miriam? Maliza namna hivyo. The deputy president chose the same, that he chose what? I want to put it on Facebook. He chose what?
Because they share the same ideals.
It is true. Any Kenyan opposing that will be a mad person.
Okay. All right. And before we move on to our
They share
the same
the
idea.
same mannerism. They share the same way of breaking people's necks.
Okay, let me read it for you. It is a personal decision by the presidential aspirant. He sought a well-known and compatible, so they are compatible, a compatible person, one who shares his ideals, and a leader with proven value of friendship. Yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah,
Are you tweeting
it is
that?
compatible. You can't bring a wife who is not compatible with you. Your wife must be compatible, otherwise the house will be on fire. So Ruth has brought a good wife who is going to replace Rachel.
Okay, let's stop that. But look, there's the headline on the Daily Nation this morning on Criticos, who awarded the DP 2,536 acres, the Mata farm in Taita Taveta. This is something that has been ongoing and a conversation that has been ongoing. It is the main headline on the Daily Nation. The story is on page 6. Maybe just a bit of what the DP said yesterday. Deputy President William Ruto has opened up on the controversy surrounding his 2,536-acre Mata farm in Taita Taveta County, saying he genuinely owns the land. Speaking at Lumu Wildlife Sanctuary during a Kenya Kwanza Economic Forum, the DP said he acquired the land after he helped former Taveta MP Basil Criticos to offset a loan he owed the Agricultural Finance Corporation, AFC. I am also a Mata elder, because I helped the former Taveta MP to settle his loan at AFC, and he gave me a portion of the land, he said. The farm located in Mata Ward borders the vast Criticos Ranch, and Lake Jipe to the south has been at the center of controversy over its ownership. DP Ruto grows maize and rears cattle at the farm and has previously been accused of diverting water meant for the residents, forcing hundreds of households to go without the commodity. His manager has also been accused of harassing neighbors and workers at the farm. So this Criticos guy, he seems to be very generous. He just handed over to the DP 2,536 acres of land.
Yeah.
That's what the story says. That's what Ruto said yesterday.
We shall bring it as a main topic, but for now, what I'm investigating will shock you.
Okay.
And let's bring it, don't forget, before Friday. Remind me. It's something very shocking. You know, people have not known who Ruto is. Ruto can steal and you think he has not stolen. So if you don't know him, watch our program tomorrow. I will show you how he steals and how he has stolen. And the people that I will mention, if they don't come out and go to the DCI and say the truth, like Mr. Paul Gichero is going to say the truth on 29th, we shall all reach the kingdom of God in different ways. I, David Matanga, will go to the kingdom of God as an Anglican Christian who goes to All Saints Church of Kenya, Anglican Church of Kenya, ACK, or Anglican Church of England. And others will go, Miriam will go as, don't know whether Catholic, she's a Protestant or whatever. Gladwell is a Catholic, she told me. Are you a Catholic, Gladwell?
Yes, I'm a Catholic.
Yes, you will enter the kingdom as a Catholic. In fact, you almost came closer to being a nun. So, you am I wrong?
No, I can't be a nun.
No, to be a nun came closer. For me, I came closer to being a bishop. I was taken to a bishop, Taka College, and then my uncle removed me like that. It's a long story.
It is
so, Miriam,
yes.
we shall enter the kingdom of God in different ways.
Okay.
So
All right.
when you hear the story of Ruto, how he put people's families in trouble, you wouldn't even want, you would like to apply for asylum somewhere, never to be, for you to listen to a man being in opposition party. Honestly, you wait. The stories are coming. They are declaring 29th open election time, where in election time, you are not going to stop somebody's mouth on the platform. People are going to open up as long as you are not inciting. But if you are telling something about you, how many people will he accuse here for him grabbing land? How many? This is a gentleman who was sentenced. You know, when you talk about land, Miriam, be careful. Let's be very, 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 very honest. Mr. Muteshi went to God without receiving $5 million shillings that Ruto was supposed to pay him. Because instead, after even taking his farm, Muteshi was threatened. After the court had made ruling, Muteshi was threatened. He never even went anywhere to pick the money. He died without picking the money. And this is a man you are producing as a candidate, a presidential candidate of your country. A man who grabbed a man's land and put him in depression until Muteshi died. I don't know which judge Muteshi was going to. I would ask him, his brother, the director of immigration. It's very sad. And here he is. He pretends as if he did not grab that land. He says, I'm clean like a cotton wool or silk. Which one is cleaner than the others? Is silk or cotton? I'm asking the panel. Between this cotton and the silk, which one is cleaner? Both of them are white. Let me simplify the question by saying which one is softer.
The cotton is softer, but the silk is luxurious.
Yes.
So it depends on what you're going for.
Thank you. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you very much. Back to you in the studios of Punchline Africa in Nairobi, Kenya, from the African headquarters. Good morning.
Okay.
Let's look at the topic.
Yes, the main topic, and I see it is the headline on the Star newspaper. Ruto has slight lead in tight race with Raila. That is according to a new poll. The story is on page 4. And by the way, another story up there, I think it's a broken record. We've talked about it so much, there's no need for us to get into it. Inside Kalonzo's grand return to Raila's Azimio. I think by now we know he's on his way back. Now, the presidential election on August 9th has become a two-horse race with DP William Ruto and ODM leader Raila Odinga running neck to neck. The latest Radio Africa opinion poll shows Ruto has edged into a slight lead of 43.3% against Raila's 42.4% when respondents were asked who they preferred as their presidential candidate. But Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka has a 4.0% support, allowing him to play the role of kingmaker and to prevent Raila and Ruto from scoring a first-round win. Only Mwangi wa Iria shows up as well as 2.3%, while others are 1.9% and undecided 6.1%. Radio Africa's SMS-based survey of 3,559 respondents in all 47 counties carries a 4.5% margin of error, which makes it difficult to determine a clear winner. Okay.
Miriam, are we ready to comment?
Mm-hmm. You can start us off.
Gladwell can begin as I arrange my notes to.
Gladwell, your thoughts on this new poll?
Miriam, when mother was selected as the running mate, I remember I said that we will only be given a few months or maybe a few weeks and the polls will change. And actually, they will change. Not that when Gachagua just opens his mouth, is just messing things around. I wish he can just continue with the same spirit of talking for the next, maybe, let's say, just 2 weeks. And then we do a poll again. And you'll be shocked, Miriam. You will be shocked. This race that they're trying to, this race whereby the deputies are a little bit leading a little bit, within 2 weeks, they won't be the same again. No, they won't be the same again because people have shifted. Reason being, Gachagwa's thinking is making people now think, now see the true colors of the two leaders. Because you know what you speak is what displays who you are. And you can't speak something that you won't actually do. The same way Gachagua is saying that when they get, when he becomes the deputy president, he will do away with some of the corporates. Is the exact thing he will do. So I think it's high time for Kenyans now to see in whose hands are you safe. No, that should be the question. In whose hands are you safe? Because what Gachagua is saying is actually what they implement. I was telling somebody that when deputy president gets into power, he'll be more richer, more than even the President Kenyatta himself. Because what he will do, he will acquire wealth more than even the Kenyatta family did within a span of just 2 years. That is what they will do. And again, Miriam, when they get into the power, that is Ruto and Rigathi, don't expect them to rule for maybe 5 or 10 years. No, we'll be slaves in our own country.
Okay. Doc, go ahead.
Miriam, yesterday, I have been doing my opinion poll. Is the one I'm looking for, madam. Then I can now be able to tell you why I like opinion poll. From the legacy trend and the contacts, my county coordinators, between 15th of May 2022, it might be wrong, it might be right, it might be, I've given the margin of error. Nairobi, Raila will get 68%, and Ruto will get 32% if he's lucky. Nakuru, Raila will get 44%, and Ruto will get 56%. Mombasa, Raila will get 83%, Ruto will get 17%. The rest can be divided with other people. Undecided. In Kisii, Raila will whip 81% of the vote. Ruto will get about 19%, and the rest will be divided undecided. Nyamira, Ruto will get 26%, and Raila will get 74%. Kakamega, Raila will get 61%, Ruto will get 35%. The rest is undecided and for small parties. And here we are. Bungoma, Raila will get 58%, Ruto will get 42%, the rest for others. Vihiga, where Mudavadi comes, Raila will win handsomely with a vote of 56% votes against Ruto's 44%. Busia, Raila will win with 83% of the vote. Trans Nzoia, Raila will, and Ruto will get 17% in Busia. Trans Nzoia, Raila 55%, Miriam. Ruto will get 45%. Kiambu, where Kiragu, you might agree or disagree, Raila will get about 40% of the vote of Kiambu because of the too much poison that they have put there. It might change, I don't know, but sincerely speaking, that is what I think. Kiambu 40 and Ruto will go away with 60%. Because there's a lot, there's Omatangi, there is Kuria, there is Kabogo. They have divided the Kiambu, split it in two. That's why you see Kabogo is always stuck in Kiambu, in Kenya Kwanza, despite the fact that he is the only lumpen who is there. He doesn't know what he's doing. Still he's there. And he has got his own money. But he's still there. You know? And he's a great friend of Uhuru Kenyatta, but he's still there. He doesn't know what to do. It's one of the few people that in Kenya that was actually made me not very comfortable. Murang'a, Raila will get 31% in Murang'a and Ruto will get about 69%. Kirinyaga 45-55. People there will come to vote out if the weather is good. They will not know any other candidate. They will only know those two. And Kirinyaga 45-55, Nyeri 38-62, Nyandarua 29-71, Ruto, Raila 29, and Ruto will be about 70, will be Kachagwa's influence there. Then in Nyandarua, yes, Meru 38-62, unless things change. Then Tharaka Nithi 37-63. Laikipia 44-56. You can see these places, people will, the percentage that will turn up will be turning up to vote for those people. They are decided. And then when you look at Narok, Laikipia 44-56. Raila 44, Ruto 56. Kajiado, Raila 54, Ruto 46. Narok 67, Raila, Ruto 33. Samburu, 76, Ruto 24. Turkana, 51, Ruto 49. West Pokot, 41% of Raila, Ruto 59. Kilifi, 69% of Ruto and of 69% of Raila, Ruto 31. Taita Taveta, 74%, Ruto 26. Tana River, 86-14. Kwale 65-35. Lamu 58-42. Machakos 83-17. Ruto will get 17%. Kitui, Raila will get 94%. Ruto will get 6%. With Kalonzo now, breaking news that I've seen, I'm told Kalonzo is back. I don't know whether you have seen it somewhere, Miriam.
Yes, it's on the papers today.
Yeah, but it has just occurred again.
Okay, so now, he's back in the country.
And I think he's back in Azimio.
Yes, the papers have like yesterday they were saying they're preparing for his arrival back, and so
Yes.
today they're saying he's back. So I think that was inevitable from that meeting that the Wiper aspirants had in Machakos a couple of days ago.
Yes. So in Kitui, 94%, he will sweep. Nobody will go to listen to any nonsense in Kitui. In Makueni, 87, nobody will listen again. Isiolo, 59, nobody will listen. Mandera, 77, and the Ruto will get 25. That's Northeastern now. Wanjil, 74-26. Baringo 23 for Raila Odinga, and the Ruto will get 77 there. There is something that Senator Gideon Moi has not told us exactly why he is doing so. Elengwe Marakwet, Raila will lose with 74, with 99%, with 90%. You'll get 9%, and the Ruto will get 91%. They will vote for him. In Nandi, Raila will lose it by 11%, and the Ruto will get it by 89%. Kericho, Raila will lose by 17%, and the Ruto will get 83% of the vote. Bomet, Raila will lose by 9%, and the Ruto will get 91%. Siaya, Ruto will lose by 1%, and Raila will get it 99%. I don't know, 99%. This 1% could be a spoiled vote. Kisumu, Ruto will lose by 7%, and Raila will get it by 93%. Homa Bay, Raila will get 98%, and Ruto will get 2%. Migori, Raila will get it by 82%, and the rest will get about 18% of the vote because of the Kuria vote that we see in the Kuria vote that all of us see in that area. There are some Kurias there, the Mohammed Jinet and others. They don't like Baba. UG, where Ruto comes from, Raila will sweep 29%, and Ruto will get it by 71%. Marsabit, Raila will get 68%, Ruto will get about 32%. Garissa, Raila will get it 75%. Total average, Miriam, Raila will garner, if the elections were held between 15th and the 22nd last week on Sunday and this week, Raila will come out with 58.8%, and the Ruto will come out with 39.2%. The undecided is 2%, and the margin of error plus or minus is 1.9%. The size of the sample size of my people that coordinators talked to is equivalent to 3,000, about over 3,000 people. Survey conducted on that day. The source is Legacy Trend. The Legacy Trend, we did it, and others also did it. They have taken the hit. Those who can give 60, they give 50. Mine is consistent. It shows. Now, Miriam, you have on the newspaper, it is 40-something to 40-something, easily. Mm-hmm. If you come to my analysis, the weather is good, everything is good, that is what is going to happen. I'm sorry to tell you that people will come out to vote the way I'm saying. So this vote is going to be too close to call. And you know what votes are that are too close to call? They are contested. You get my point, madam? They are contested. And the contestation is really tough, and it can create a lot of chaos for our country. So the vote will be ranging around there. Raila could settle down finally to 52, 53, and the Ruto could settle down to about 49, or 47, or 40, whatever it is, or that 41, 40, between 41 to 46. That's where Raila, Ruto will get his vote. He will not surpass the 50 mark himself. I submit therefore. Any questions about Kiambu? I'm ready, and I know Gladwell is not very pleased with me on that one, on Kiambu. Gladwell, thank you. You have heard.
No, that I'm not pleased. Actually, that's the facts. That's the facts on the ground, not unless they change.
So Kiambu is that way. Is it?
You know, Doc, actually, I don't know if you know something that, you know, Wamatangi is in the UDA, but at the same time, Wamatangi is also in Jubilee. I don't know if you know that one. So you can see, so Kiambu is still undecided. I was made to understand that Wamatangi had a role in Jubilee, and actually he was not told to resign, so he's still in Jubilee at the same time he's in UDA. So you can see the kind of confusion actually in Kiambu. Kiambu people are confused, and I said that Ruto brainwashed the Mount Kenya people. Kiambu is more brainwashed. And you saw that Ruto saying that yesterday in a topic that Ruto said that the Mount Kenya people should only vote for UDA people only. Kiambu is more confused than ever. They don't know what they want. Yesterday when the women rep Anwa Muratha went and stood to say something, she was not cheered. There's this independent, she's known as Nongari. Nongari was well cheered, and you can see the kind of confusion and the kind of leadership that you can't stand a fellow woman because she was cheered more than you. The stupidity even with this, I'm sorry to use that word. And when Nongari was cheered, Muratha left. Yet both of them want to be the women rep, but they can't stand each other. At the same time, we should call you leaders. So Kiambu, as Nora as I mean Kiambu, the Kiambu people are confused. They don't know what they want.
So this allegation of Mr. What is his name? Is in
Wamatangi. Yes, Wamatangi is still in Jubilee. Was not told to resign, and he's also in EDA.
Can I tell you it is true? Because nobody has replaced Wamatangi as the chief whip. Two, Wamatangi is married to Ruto's cousin, so he has to balance between the tribe of where he comes from and Dr. Dorothy. I'm sorry to say it here. Yeah. Dorothy, the wife, is a cousin from the same village in Sugoi. They are cousins with Ruto. They influenced Ruto. Wamatangi influenced Dr. Mutua. Yes. Dr. Mutua of Machakos. When Mutua came back to cry for more money from some source, because he had taken some money from this side, they said they will expose him. He went and stuck there, and he's now talking a lot of nonsense in Mombasa about President Uhuru Kenyatta. And so we have paid up mercenaries. We don't have candidates in Kenya. We have paid up mercenaries. God help us. Miriam, I think our time is running out, but there is one thing that I wanted to say here. I think, and Nani has it, what is his name? Mr. Stephen. Stephen, can you put up that thing on the screen, please? The thing that you have posted on the legacy trend, and quickly we go through it and call it a day, Miriam. And then on top of the hour at 12:15, we shall be celebrating Africa Day, and wherever you'll be, watch. The discussion is from serious academics, scholars on the continent of Africa, and each has 45 minutes to finish. So my time starts at 12:15, and I will face the panel to tell the world that African Union is dead. Thank you. Let's look at, is that playing now?
Yes.
So you can see what I have written. Moses Kuria has been harassing Moses Kuria has been harassing Moses Kuria has been harassing Kalonzo Musyoka. He wrote and said Kalonzo Musyoka has gone to pick money, and on Monday he will come back and say, I stay in Azimio. And also now, the legacy trend. I've seen a picture of Wambora Mukami. This is what's going on here. But that is the topic for Gladwell and later on. But let's look at this, which is very interesting. Moses Kuria, phase 1, he says about Kalonzo, I think you have all read, but I've also told Moses Kuria, phase 1, buy witnesses for 2,000 shillings, fix Ruto and Uhuru at the ICC. Phase 2, run away from Uhuru with secrets and receive handouts after ICC report to Ruto, then demonize Uhuru. Phase 3, create opposition in Mount Kenya to destroy Uhuru Kenyatta legacy. Phase 4, buy an electric blanket in Africa to burn your legs at night and blame it to God. Phase 5, allow it to burn you when drunk, to seek sympathy from people and avoid debtors. Phase 6, doctors say stay away for 6 months and do light work, but you are back on the heavy drink and the heavy work. Yes. Phase 7, refuse to follow your party of confusion and Mount Kenya people, to confuse Mount Kenya people, that Uhuru is a bad man and Ruto is the best. Phase 8, Moses Kuria began to increase payment, his payment, and you join KK. Ruto increased his payment, and he joined Kenya Kwanza as a funny comedian and a sweeper in his KK Kenya. I think the Kiambu people will agree with me that you got nothing, the people of South Katundu. You are not just periphery, you are onlookers. Phase 9, Moses Kuria received hot air in Kenya Kwanza. Phase 10, Ruto eats chicken and Moses Kuria ate feathers. Then phase 12, for me from the bottom of my heart, I've forgiven you, Moses, on ICC matters where you fixed Kenyatta and Ruto. Phase 14, I've also forgiven you for not paying my debt of 1.4 million shillings, and as a Christian, I've written it off as a bad debt. Phase 14, let us remain God's children and have good luck, my younger brother, that I met in 2003 and had lunch with Intercontinental Hotel. I did not know you would look like this. And the last phase, 15, not 5. Stephen watched that, not 5. Phase 15, Moses Kuria, leave Kalonzo to do what you have also done before elsewhere. He is free to rejoin Azimio and not thieves of Kenya Kwanza, the legacy trend, and that is my take this morning. Thank you very much, Miriam. Thank you for hosting this show this morning. Coming up next at 12:15 East African Standard Time will be the Africa Day. The Africa Day, we shall be looking at the political, economic, security, terrorism, hunger, COVID, diseases. There is a panel of about 10 eminent Africans. That includes myself on the panel. I will be facing the entire world, the panel at 12:15. Let's see each other there. Is African Union alive or dead? Miriam has given me the answer, and I'm going to go with that answer. Kirago, I want your answer.
It's dead. It's dead.
No, are you sure? Is there anything that you feel like you are an African Union person?
No, African Union died a long time ago.
So there is no need of commemorating this day, is there?
Actually, we should call it an irony.
What? Okay, Miriam, your quick comment on that. Is it dead, still alive? I take these ideas there because all of you of Punchline would have said, you have observed the African Union. Does it still have any value to Africa, or it has been overtaken by events of United Nations, European Union? They even beg money from European Union. So do we have any African Union?
Yeah, we do have African Union because we pay taxes to support that institution. But perhaps on your second question about its the values, because the forefathers who formed this organization in 1963, when it was called the Organization of African Unity, they were very specific in terms of the vision and the dream they had for Africa, but that has not been realized so many years later. Instead, some other interests are the ones that have taken center stage, interests that have nothing to do with the well-being of the Africans and the Africa as a continent. So I think that is where we have a problem. The dream that our forefathers had, I don't know if we have achieved any of that or if we're even working to achieve that. So it is there. African Union is there because our leaders meet, in Ethiopia, every beginning of the year. So it's there, but the agenda seems to have changed, and it has nothing to do with the people of Africa as it is.
Thank you very much. I think if the founding fathers woke up from their graves,
and Nkrumah will die again.
Would die twice.
Nkrumah will die twice. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Miriam. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless all of you. God bless everybody. We see you tomorrow, I believe.
Yes.
I see you tomorrow. I'll try to take on your show today. If you can pass your notes to me, I'll do it at 3 p.m. I'm still available.
I don't pass notes. I read and...
No, you can share some of those notes.
The news items, they can, Steve
can
do the research.
News item can be sent to me, and then I can also use my little knowledge that I have to fit in your shoes. Yeah, otherwise,
because I take time to understand the current affairs across Africa. So, but the latest, Steve will do a good job. He will get you that.
You don't like African current affairs?
No, that's what I do. That's my favorite.
The current affairs is the one holding online is that Besigye is still in a police station.
Yeah, he tried to protest yesterday. I think he's being ridiculous on this one.
He did beat them. He did beat them, and they found him in town.
Yes, with a huge microphone, calling, criticizing that birthday party that happened for Muhonzi a couple of weeks ago, and also the high food prices, which I think, and I usually support a lot of the things that he makes noise about, but on this one, I don't think he's right, because the cost of living is rising everywhere. It's not just a Ugandan thing. So I don't know what solutions perhaps he would suggest for President Museveni. And President Museveni has said, in case you're sitting there thinking things will change, no. You start eating cassava and bananas and all that, things will not change. And that tax will not remove that, because the government still has to continue working and we get our money from your taxes. So if you're expecting anything to change, it's your typical, grandfather. Sometimes when he talks, he forgets he's the head of state, but he's very real. And that's what he told Ugandans the other day.
Yeah, he told us to tighten our belts.
Yeah, nothing will change.
But no, yeah, he told us to tighten the belts. He told Ugandans to tighten the belts.
Yeah.
But some Ugandans said they don't use belts, they use banana leaves. to tie their clothes.
Let them go get enough of those. And I don't know what Besigye seeks to achieve right now. I think he's not really addressing the cost of living. I think he's concerned about Muhonzi being propped up to be the next president, because the cost of living is a problem for everybody. Kenya, Tanzania, the UK, South Africa, everywhere. It is a real problem that a lot of governments can really not do anything about. So I don't know if that is the main thing, but I think he's just camouflaging that because he knows that when you talk about food, it's easier to whip emotions from people, but that is not really his main problem.
Miriam, before you leave, I know you have a few minutes to leave. Let me tell you one thing, and let Ugandans who are listening to me to listen. In this world, don't lay a ground for others to be trapped. Can I start slowly? Don't lay a ground for you, for anybody. Don't say, that Miriam, let me see. Let me put there this. Don't say Gladwell, I'll put there this to catch her. In 1986-87, Dr. Besigye was a Minister of State for Internal Security. I do want to say this because I sympathize with Besigye. He's my friend in the struggle before he left to return to Uganda. He left me I told him not to go. And basically, I'm vindicated today. I told him not to leave South Africa to return to Uganda. The last telephone call we had with me, Besigye, and Shaka Sali is that broke us apart. A three-way discussion. I was in London, he was in South Africa, Shaka Sali was in Washington. I told my friend Dr. Besigye, his name is called Alokaloka. Alokaloka. That's our code name, and all of us have our rebel names. I have about 2 that I can tell you. I told him don't go to Uganda because Museveni has trumped up a charge of you having raped a house girl. I'm now talking the truth because I recorded those telephone conversations on my systems. Are still alive here. When I said I had got information from somebody who was in this police, the highest police at that time, a senior police officer, who was my OB at the university and at the senior secondary school. We were OBs. He was one class below me, who told me, but be careful, tell your friend not to come, because he's being charged with a rape, that he raped a house girl when you have a very beautiful wife. You can imagine. So I broke the news to Besigye. Besigye said, who told you? I said, it has been arranged. As soon as you reach Entebbe Airport, they will grab you. And you will be charged, you will be harassed, you will be what? You will spend a lot of time defending this case. Besigye told me, I said, my suggestion on that telephone call was very simple. And I let Ugandans hear. They might not hear this from me again. My suggestion to Dr. Besigye was leave General Mugisha Muntu, who had already defied Museveni, to conduct. My preferred candidate and everybody on this was General Mugisha Muntu. Let him go, because he had seen the bad things of a regime that he supported. Like Besigye also had seen the bad things of a regime, of the laws that he wrote. The laws that are hitting Besigye today were written by him. Detention without trial, warrants of arrest, being sent all over the whole world to look for people like us. So many people over charges that are trumped up, I'm telling you. So many people were killed. Those who support Obote. Imagine an organization called Force Obote Back, of which they said I headed it. In my Eastern province, they said I headed that organization. People are perished. We can't even find them today. Basically, was the political commissioner of Museveni. If you talked about Museveni in 1987, 86, 85, 86, 87, 80, you would be fetched on the streets of Nairobi near Wimpe. You know Wimpe used to be there. There was a Wimpe there. They would put you in a car and you find yourself across. Moi was trading in us. Moi traded us. Me, when you talk about Moi, I keep quiet and I look down. We suffered here. The laws were made by my comrade. And my comrade now, later on disagreed with the master. But he did not remove the laws. You get my point? Medium, the law, detention, harassment, stopping this were made by Besigye. You could not demonstrate, you could not point the finger at the NRM. They went on selling properties, they want everything. They did. They went and killed black people. Medium, if you went to the streets of Kampala, you, at that time, you will not survive. They will call you, put a tire on you. Yes. 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 It's painful. Sakaja, the MP for Kapchorwa. Sakaja, the MP for Kapchorwa. Forget about these people masquerading here. Sakaja, the MP for Kapchorwa, was a black guy. We had to rescue him from Malaba border because they had set a tire until a certain people, two Baganda guys who saw the guy said, this guy is just, is not a Luo, he's a Kalenjin from Sebei. He's a Kalenjin from Sebei, don't kill him. Then they removed the tires. The late Sakaja, MP for Kapchorwa constituency, my friend. I took him from Bungoma tourist hotel, drove him up to Nairobi. He went into exile to Russia. Who was setting those laws? The NRM, NRA. And who was the political commissioner? Minister of State for Internal Security, like Matiang. Who? The Lord was Besigye. Miriam. I started by saying, please, when you set these laws, don't set them for a matter of joy. Set them for prosperity. For other, don't set them that everybody who will pass there will be judged equally. What Besigye is reaping today is very bad. But he laid the nails, the same bed he's lying on was set by him. He did not see the danger. Some of us who have opposed Museveni from 1980, you can call us cowards. We are very far away. Some of us who went to fight in the bushes, who actually tried to fight to get parties back, You can call us names, we are still here. But let me tell you, Miriam, there is the danger now. That's the story, the headline story about Africa ranging today. And I believe Dr. Besigye will one day remind himself that I told him, leave Dr. General Mugisha Muntu to do so. Thank you. You can.